tọdún yìí pẹ̀lú àkọlé Dinner with Igboho. Bákan náà la ó mọ gba ọba Ògbóni àgbáyé lálejò Tajudeen Ọlárẹ̀wájú Àjàlá àti bàbá Adésọjí Tàlàbí àwòrò ṣàṣà eégún mọ̀gájí nílùú London. Wọ́n ti wá sí àyẹ́sí fún olóyè Ìgbòho lọ́jọ́ náà tó wáyé nínú gbọ̀ngàn ńlá ní London Kensington 179-199 Holland Park Avenue London W114UL United Kingdom. Bẹ̀rẹ̀ látago méje ìrọ̀lẹ́ ẹlẹ́lẹ́dago méjìlá òru. Bákan náà láti kí wa kú ìmúrísílẹ̀ ìwọ́de làmìlaka tẹgbẹ̀lẹ́gbẹ̀ ènìyàn tí ó wáyé nílùú ọba 1 million rally in London lọ́jọ́ kejìlá oṣù kẹwàá tó di ọjọ́ kejìdínlá pẹ̀lú Ìgbòho léyìí tó Ọláyọmí Kóìkì àti bàbá wa Gbẹ̀du ọmọ ṣàkóso ẹ̀ lọ́ọ̀kan ọ̀jọ̀gá àwọn àlàkalẹ̀ ìrọ̀rùn. Bàbá ṣe máa fi ọkọ̀ àjàgbé ńlá ní London route bus sí àwọn àgbà àti àwọn abarapá gbogbo láti BBC in Oxford títí tí ìwọ́de ó fi parí sí Paris Trafalgar Square tó bá wá di ọjọ́ kẹtàlá ọjọ́ kẹtàdínlá pẹ̀lú Ìgbòho. Láwọn máa ṣàbẹ̀wò lọ sí ìlú Manchester gan. Fún ẹ̀kúnrẹ́rẹ́ àlàyé síwájú sí i tàbí láti dá sí ètò ìfọlọ́ndrìlì ẹ lè pè tàbí kẹ́ WhatsApp Ọláyọmí Kóìkì lórí +447-594-050-979. Kẹ́hìndé Ìjàdùbí lórí +447-570-320-030. Ṣọlá Kòkòtọ̀kù lórí +353-863-375-537. Bákan náà ní ẹ lè kàn sí Tóyìn Ọláoyè lórí +447-896-018-764. Lápapọ̀ ọmọ Yorùbá àgbáyé pátápátá YSDN pẹ̀lú Yorùbá World Media Home and Diaspora àti gbogbo ìkànnì mìíràn tó ń sọ̀rọ̀ sókè fún jàǹgbara ọmọ Yorùbá. Ìyàwó ẹgbẹ́ ìfẹ́lọ́dọ̀ àpapọ̀ ọmọ Yorùbá ṣe kí ọmọ aládìgbò wípé ẹkú ọdún ẹkú ìyèdún àti ìsàmọ́dún àsàmọ́dún sẹ́ẹ̀mí ìtayà tọmọ. Yorùbá World Media tó kéde lórúkọ gbogbo ọmọ Yorùbá pátápátá.
Mokiwugwa, 4th of October 2024. Very quick as we continue our campaign and as we prepare for the week ahead. This time next week, God's willing, inshallah, in Jesus' name and the mighty name of the Yoruba gods around the world, and the most important, the Yoruba gods in Yoruba land. The event will kickstart at exactly 10 a.m. in the next couple of days. This time next week, we will be hosting the most important philanthropist and activist, the lover of the Yoruba man, the lover of the Yoruba woman, a caring father, a man that believes that Yoruba people needs to be free, under the leadership of our leader, Professor Adebanji Akintoye, the emeritus professor and historian, born in 1935 at exactly 89 years old today. We would all gathered in the UK at exactly a few hours from now, when we will be celebrating an icon. But the authorization for all these events wouldn't have happened without the leader of the Yoruba Self-Determination Group known as YSDM. Stephen Adebanji Akintoye was born in Nigeria in 1935. He's an academic, an historian, and a writer. Quite a lot of his book is still available on the Koikimedia website. The history of the Yoruba people is one out of the many books that he has wrote, and he has continued to write. A father that knows that the Yoruba people are now currently in danger, and it is best in the interest that we exit Nigeria before it collapses on every single one of us. He's well studied. As at 1974, while most of you were not born, between 1974 and 1976, I can confirm to us that Professor Adebanji Akintoye was already a man that could see the vision. Let's remind us that you cannot know more than him, no matter how well you are read today, no matter how powerful you are today. An historian like Professor Adebanji Akintoye knows that it will be in the interest of the Yoruba people to exit Nigeria. He started his very early years at Christ School at Doikiti between 1951 and 1955, when there was not yet an independent Nigeria. From there, it studied, just like I have lived there as well, in the University of London, an overseas college, between 1956 and 1961, a year after the fraudulent independence by the British, the wicked independent that gave power more to others. That was in 1961. Between that period of time as well, Professor Akintoye, while most of you today are not even as qualified as him, he was already preparing for his PhD at a very young age. Professor Akintoye, as is known, the emeritus, went further for a doctorate study from 1963 to 1966, when Nigeria was going through a lot of turbulences. And imagine, Nigeria is still facing the same turbulence that it has faced for the last 6 decades. Nothing is going to change. All these were happening at a very important university known as the University of Ibadan, where he was awarded a PhD in history. So who the hell are you to come and tell us that we should remain in Nigeria, when someone that knows the history of Nigeria and the Yoruba people is gathering us together in the United Kingdom, and we are scared of one man called Bola Tinubu? Who the hell is Bola Tinubu? Who the hell is he that we should be scared because he's in London? The rally will go ahead as planned next week, Saturday, God's willing. And Igboho will be representing this important man known as Stephen Adebanji Akintoye. Let me remind us that if Bola Tinubu likes, let him bring all his babalawo and all his witchcraft to UK. The rally will go ahead as planned. Let me remind us that we are not cowards to be scared of Bola Tinubu, because he's powerful, he's the president, and he's a very dangerous man. Let me remind us that there is no amount of how dangerous Bola Tinubu is One day, he would eventually die as well, just as many of us will die. It will not and cannot and will never stop the Yoruba people from pulling out of Nigeria under a very important structure of Professor Adebanji Akintoye. Bola Tinubu doesn't know the history of the people he's dealing with because he's a coward. If he was a true son of a Yoruba man, he would have done exactly what Baba Akintoye is advising him to do. But as a coward that he is, he cannot even spend his annual leave in Nigeria. What a coward president. For him to have traveled down, and a lot of Yoruba people are worried and scared that Bola Tinubu is in London, in coincidence or plan, if that is what he thinks, to our own upcoming rally. Let me remind you that if Bola Tinubu likes, let him do as much as what he can do. We know what he can do, but that will not stop the Yoruba Nation rally going ahead in London next week, Saturday. So those of you that are worried and scared, Professor Adebanji Akintoye continues to say we go ahead with the rally. There will be no change of plan. There will be no movement of anything apart from exactly what we have been saying in the last couple of weeks under the organization of Ifelodun Apapo Omo Yoruba and many other organizations that are working towards the purpose of this rally. We are grateful to the YSD and the Yoruba Self-Determination Group. We are grateful to Akikoju. We are grateful to as many other groups that would like to support the Yoruba people to pull out under the leadership of Professor Adebanji Akintoye. Professor Akintoye, like I said, was already a PhD in history. Where is Tinubu as at 1966? That you will now tell me to listen to one crap president because of his own selfish agenda in Milokan, where millions of Nigerians are languishing in poverty. Tinubu will not stop the rally. The rally will go ahead as planned. On a quick note as well, on a very quick one, Professor Akintoye did not just achieve a PhD and went away. He taught history at the Department of Obafemi Awolowo, the same university that we were rejected from having a Peace Unity Day just a couple of weeks ago. What a disaster for the Yoruba people. What an insult that Professor Akintoye, that led the history part of Obafemi Awolowo University, would not be allowed with many other important dignitaries to host the Unity Day right in the same university that he taught just some few decades ago in 1966. Do you understand what has happened? That between 1966 till 2024, the Fulani agenda is already inside Obafemi Awolowo University and many other places like that. And you're telling us that the Yoruba should remain in Nigeria. How would Obafemi Awolowo University reject the Yoruba people from hosting a Unity Day program at that particular university last week? Does that not send a signal to us? Does that not tell us something? How did we get to where we are? It's because we tolerated this nonsense, and we must now remind the world through our gathering in London next week, regardless of wherever Tinubu is, whether he's in the hospital taking treatment, whether he has come for his own agenda to disrupt the protest, as he has done mostly in Nigeria using his thugs. Let me remind us that the police has been informed about our event, and if you are coming to disrupt it, the police will be taking you away. If you like, come out with all method of disruption. Not just that the gods of the Yoruba land will fight each one of you that think of such, but the death of the innocent Yoruba people that have died for the negligence of a government, whether today or in the past, would also cry. Yoruba youth group protests Obafemi Awolowo University for the cancellation of a Unity Day event, the same university that Professor Adebanji Akintoye taught in 1966. Between 1966 and today shows that the Yoruba people do not own Obafemi Awolowo University. It is just ordinary name. And this is the reason why the rally will go ahead. Also, as we remind us that the Yoruba National Youth Group has now expressed their outrage over Obafemi Awolowo University last-minute cancellation of a Yoruba National Unity Day event, which was scheduled to take place at the institution's Oduduwa Hall. Did you hear the word? We want to host a Yoruba National Unity Day inside Oduduwa Hall. And yet, a Fulani man that owns the university made a phone call and told the Yoruba people to toss off that this university is no longer in your care, is now in the care of the federal government. And you are telling me that we have, a bomb bastard president called Bola Tinubu that could not give an order that the Yoruba people should be allowed to go ahead and host that event. We have the bomb bastard governor Adeleke and many other of them that could not be concerned that we are hosting an event that has a meaningful impact on the lives of millions of Yoruba people after we have fought so many wars called the Kiriji War and the invasion of the Fulani into the Yoruba land over 200 years. That event was rejected right inside what we call Oduduwa Hall. And the bastard Yoruba people will come and tell us that we should keep quiet. Bomb bastard all over the place. Does that not tell you something that you don't own your land anymore? If you cannot sit down in the Oduduwa Hall, this is not Ahmadu Bello University. This is not Nnamdi Azikiwe University. We are talking about Obafemi Awolowo University that Professor Adebanji Akintoye did his best to teach history in 1966 when some of you bomb bastard have not even been born. Bomb bastard all over the place. You will now come and tell us that you want to save Nigeria because the British that told you lies, the America that told you the lies, the European countries that doesn't value you as a human being, that think that most of you are animals, even though animals is well respected in this beautiful part of the world. Because if animal is respected, they will not kill all the cat that was found in Igbo's house on the 1st of July 2021, because they thought that maybe that is where he kept his power, his spiritual power. But they forgot that the gods of the Yoruba land doesn't need to put their spiritual power around Igbo in the cart. They were right across him to protect him from the evil invasion of the Fulani and Bola Tinubu agenda, we know, on the 1st of July, because Emilokon wants to be the president of a crazy country that most of you will die before the age of 52. Ask the parent of Tolulope Arotile. She was not even 24 years old. Ask the parent of Jumoke Yoleke. She was not 24 years old. Ask the parent of Pelumi, a beautiful young journalist. He was not 24 years old. Ask the parent of Bamishe Anyonwola. You want me to go ahead, or you want me to go as far as Dr. Chinero, that was killed by the Fulani on the train? But the bastard Yorubas will now tell us to keep quiet because a lot of you are part of the parcel of a criminal element called Nigeria. The end of Nigeria is getting closer, and we will drag it down by bringing shame to that country called Nigeria next week Saturday. We will tell the world the evil agenda of the Fulani against the Yorubas. Not literally that they're going to pull us out. We will then fight to pull ourselves out. But we will create the awareness, because most people around the world are too busy to understand what is going on in Nigeria, because the world is full of evil. There's so many wars going on, from Sudan to Somalia, from Somalia to Ukraine, from Ukraine now we are seeing Iran. The third world war is around the corner. The Western agenda must be removed from the Yoruba territory. Nobody owns the territory. The territory doesn't belong to Chinese, doesn't belong to America, doesn't belong to Britain. We will take it back by force because we own it. So under the leadership, again, as we say, of Professor Adebanji Akintoye, that got his PhD history in 1966, you got yours when? Bomb bastard Yoruba people will come and tell us to keep quiet, that you know more than Baba Akintoye. He taught at the history department at Obafemi Awolowo University in Ile-Ife, Osun State. The university was founded in 1961 with cocoa money, but yet a Fulani man stopped the agenda of an event that should take place last week, because for them, it does not belong to Yoruba people anymore, after it was stolen and given to the federal government. Yet that building was built with cocoa money, just as the Nigerian High Commission in London, just like the same building that your crazy president will be sleeping for the next couple of 2 weeks, or if otherwise, he will be giving medical treatment at St. Mary's Hospital. So why are you scared? Oh, we should protect Igboho. The gods of Yoruba land continue to protect Igboho. Nobody can protect him. I cannot protect him. You cannot protect him. But the gods of Yoruba land knows that he is meant to protect him. And Bola Tinubu's hands will not touch Igboho. They've tried. They failed. And they cannot win this particular program. So we are not going to be stopping our event because Tinubu is in London. That event will go ahead as planned, so that we can shame Tinubu's government for the trap and the death of innocent Nigeria since he's been in government, that it cannot stop the agenda of the Fulanis. Over 10,000 people have died. It is time that we tell the world the evil part of APC, the Fulani agenda. So next week, as Baba Akintoye was just not only teaching at the history department of Obafemi Awolowo University, he became a professor and the director of the Institute of African Studies in 1974 up to 1977. Some of you were never been born as at the time. Indomie generation. You want to save Nigeria. Bàbá yín ò save Nigeria. Bàbá tó fẹ́ yọ bàbá yín kúrò ní Nigeria. Ẹni pé kó shut up. What do you know about Nigeria than Professor Banji Akintoye? What do you know? What do you know? What do you know about the evil intention of the British against the Yoruba people? Because they're giving some of you scholarship, they're giving some of you visa, they're giving some of us to Japa. So we should then keep quiet and allow the agenda. Does Britain own Yoruba land? Does America own Yoruba land? When the right time is right, we will tell them that the land belongs to us. It's either we chase them away or they would have to accept the doctrine of Yoruba people that wants to have their own independent country. When the right time is right, everybody will know. America is already wanting their citizens to vacate as quickly as possible Lebanon. They will do the same thing at the right time in Nigeria. Bomb bastards. He was also taught African history in universities, not just in Nigeria, even as far as United States of America in Florida. Bomb bastard, Mali. Some of you have not even left Nigeria to go to South Africa and see the difference. So you would tell a man that studied at Obafemi Awolowo University that then went to America to continue to teach history of the Africans and Yoruba people around the world. So ẹ̀yin lè máa mọ̀ ju Baba Akintoye lọ, ẹ̀yin ọmọ àlè kékèké àtàwọn ẹ̀gbọ́n òfò, àwọn bàbá òfò, àwọn bàbá olórí burúkú tó yẹ ká ti dá sí ìdìsí gbogbo ti kú dànù, àwọn ìyá òfò, àwọn ìyá àdánù. You live abroad, you tell us to shut up because Nigeria is going to war, because Tinubu is going to fix Nigeria. Tinubu ti fix ilé bàbá àti ìyá ẹ̀ ní Ọ̀ṣun State that nobody knows his true record. Tó ti adopt oríṣiríṣi orúkọ táwọn àmọ́ true identity of him. All evil bastard ẹ̀yin olùṣe lórí burúkú tẹ̀lé ṣoríire gbogbo yín pátápátá káwa máa bẹ̀rù Tinubu kò ní dá fún gbogbo yín. The event go ahead. Ẹni máa kú ẹni máa yẹ òun ni àwa náà yìí. Ẹ jẹ́ kó gbé gbogbo babaláwo ẹ̀ wá sí UK. Àwa náà ní babaláwo lọ́wọ́. Àwọn irú mọ̀lẹ́ dẹ̀ ń tẹ̀lé wa kò ní dá fún gbogbo yín. Àwa máa bẹ̀rù Tinubu tó ló wà ní London kò ní dá fẹ́yìn kò ní dá fún Tinubu. Ẹ ṣí èrè. Baba Akintoye taught at the university in South Florida. From there, he taught Americans, the Africans, the Indians, those that need to know about the true meaning of who we are as Africans. He taught Africa history. You lòṣì. History mélòó lẹ́yìn mọ̀? History mélòó ni bàbá yín sọ fún yín? Ṣé bàbá yín ò sọ fún yín pé Yorùbá ló ní ilẹ̀ Yorùbá kó tó di pé àwọn Gẹ̀ẹ́sì dé ní 1886 from the Lagos colony, and it took them 42 years to join everything together using Lugard as their stooge. We would break down the last empire of the British known as Nigeria. Nigeria doesn't belong to us, it belongs to the British and the Fulanese. And the end of Nigeria is right. And we're telling them, and we're going to be telling them next week, Saturday. So join us. If you're going to be in London, it will be interesting. It will be fun. And the most important part, quickly, because of the time constraint this morning, that Baba Akintoye taught from the University of the South Florida, Tampa, Florida. He also went further to Montgomery County Community College. Ìwọ tó kúrò ní ó kúrò láàrin abúlé yín. So báwo ló ṣe fẹ́ dá gold mọ̀ tó máa fi mọ̀ pé gold lélẹ̀, silver lélẹ̀. Ìwọ tó rí náà rí, ìwọ tó romi rí. Bàbá yẹn wá sọ fún ẹ pé no, this is not the way life is meant to be. Life is meant to be for you to enjoy. You don't need to be a criminal before you enjoy a good life. And it will go further. He also taught at the Eastern University, and all these are records, not like Tinubu's record that we cannot find, all shady records. From the drug money that went into his account to illegitimate, fraudulent election from the INEC. So any ọmọ Yorùbá tó bá ní ká lọ ṣe policy kò ní dá fún bàbá ẹ̀ bàbá ò ní ṣoríire. Wọ́n ní kú síbi táṣọ wọn wà àti ìyá ẹ̀. We should go and do election in that fraudulent system that British created that rigged the first election for Fulani in 1959. So election ká lọ máa ṣe olè ajibole. Every single one of you that talk about go and join the politics, go and do politics so that Yoruba people can pull. Ní kúre ogun máa pa yín lẹ́yẹ kankan. One bastard Yoruba people. Instead of us to pull together and work towards self-determination and make sure that we have our own independent country like Finland, like Germany, like France, all the smaller countries, like Malta, where Tinubu and his gang of thieves are taking our crude oil because the crude oil belongs to everybody, at least temporarily. 500,000 population in Cyprus. They are living a better life than most of you idiots, professors, and elite criminals. Papa Akintoye also went to St. David, Pennsylvania. My mom has also been to 23 countries. She knows that it is the best interest of Yoruba people to pull out. Somebody will not travel to 23 countries around the world and now say we should keep Nigeria. My mom japa in 1990. I japa in 1998. When are you going to japa? So we're all going to japa. So we're going to japa the whole 65 million Yoruba people in Nigeria. Is it not in the interest for us to pull out of Nigeria quickly so that we can save lives? And that is what Baba Akintoye is representing, because somebody is coming to represent him. He doesn't need to be here, but somebody will be representing him. I will be telling you that person in just about a few minutes. Baba Akintoye has written 4 books, chapters in many joint books, and several articles. Articles mélòó ni Tinubu ti kọ? Give me all the articles that Tinubu has written ever since he has been born, with all kind of fraudulent identity. The West know the true identity of Tinubu, from his date of birth to the name he used when he first traveled to America. But let them continue to be living in denial. The gods of Yoruba land will reveal all the truth at the appropriate time. Baba Akintoye is currently living in Benin Republic, since the Yoruba people told him he cannot live in his hometown in Ekiti because they want to kill him. And olórí burúkú àwọn ọmọ kéékèèké olóṣì èèyàn ọmọ àdánù ọ̀fọ̀ àwọn ọmọ tó yẹ kó ti fìtọ́ yín kó ti fọ́ jáde kúrò lára ìyá yín. Come and tell us, well, we're going to save Nigeria. Your father could not save Nigeria. Your mother could not save Nigeria. You will never save Nigeria. You will die trying to save Nigeria. Go and ask how many people that have died trying to save Nigeria. Tolulokparo today is one. Died from even being the first ever helicopter combat pilot. What more can you have from a country if truly is a country? Somebody just reverse and kill her, and that was the end. Probably give the parent 10 million. Bye-bye. You will not save Nigeria. Holy Ajibole. How are you going to save Nigeria? Criminals all over the place. My name is OLAYOMI KOIKI. So just to bring it closer back home, Chief Sunday Adeyemo Igboho will be representing Baba Akintoye next week, Saturday. Yes. He will be in London, God's willing, to take charge of the rally from the BBC that we invite every one of you, friends of the Yorubas, the Caribbeans, the Africans, the Ghanaians, come and join us. Because we are all Africans that are suffering the colonialization that took place for too long, the slave trade by the Church of England that was involved in slave trade. Imagine Church of England was involved in slave trade. They were using slaves to build Church of England. An idiot will come and tell us to shut up because you now believe in Jesus Christ. So because we should not hold Church of England accountable for making money out of slave trade. Your father, your forefathers were all used as slaves. From the Portuguese to the Americans to West Indies, for all over the place. And they will now come and tell you, oh, we are all Commonwealth citizens. Which Commonwealth citizen? Who told you you're a Commonwealth citizen? You are just a zoo citizen. That's what the West knows. That's why they can't give us visa. But the European countries that are not even up to population of Alimosho, they're traveling, connecting around the world. You travel with a Nigerian passport, you'll be questioned because they know that that country is a criminal country, but not the people inside, because the people inside are good people, whether they are Igbos, whether they are Hausas, whether they are Yorubas. We are good, loving people, but we are being put together under this fraudulent amalgamation that it is now due to de-amalgamate. And that is all I can give you for the Friday nugget. Good morning and enjoy the rest of the day. My name is OLAYOMI KOIKI. Bye for now.